I'm Brian Bender, and let's queer up the USA View. Stonewall Inn owners accuse JK Rowling of fueling global harm to LGBTQ+ community. The co-owners of New York City's historic Stonewall Inn say that author JK Rowling's public statements about transgender people have contributed to broader setbacks for queer rights around the world. Speaking to The National, Stacy, Lentz, and Kelly said, quote, "Even though she's based in Scotland, it's affected people globally. Now we've got to go back and educate people," end quote. The pair also said transgender people have become political fodder, arguing that they are increasingly being used to divide voters. Quote, "I would say the 1% you have to worry about are the billionaires that are making us all divided at the bottom of the pile. That's who's taking away your rights," end quote. Lentz and Kelly also criticized recent court decisions affecting transgender rights, including rulings on the legal definition of what a woman is in the UK and participation in school sports in the US. Lentz called claims that transgendered women pose a widespread threat in women's spaces as misinformation. The co-owners also warned that challenges to transgendered rights could extend to same-sex marriage and adoption. Well, I don't disagree with anything that they're saying. Let's hate on JK Rowling because, but I do like the Scottish people because when they came to Boston, they had a wonderful time. They were putting cones on. I guess it's a thing in Scotland. So I'll give her 1 point that she's from Scotland, but she gets like a -100 for everything else. She's a trans-exclusive revolutionary whatever a TERF is. She doesn't like people that are born male who now identify as female because she sees a boogie person where one doesn't exist. She thinks that men are going to pretend that they are transgender so that they can get into women's changing spaces. I think the data is very slim, if non-existent on that. I do not know a single transgender person who has gone through whatever life-changing therapy, hormones, whatever it is, just so that they could menace and, catch, cheap glimpses of women in changing rooms. So that's number one. Number two, as much as I love Stonewall Inn, and it's a wonderful national historical site, and it was the first brick was thrown there, and love it. Why are these people the owners? Why are I love that they have hot takes, but we have hot takes too. Join us at the table. I don't understand, kind of the significance of their hot take other than the fact that they are rich enough or well endowed enough to own the Stonewall Inn. I hope I'm not being offensive
I
here, but
I mean, they don't identify I guess I assume they're maybe a heterosexual couple.
Okay, great.
And if whether they are or not, they're allies to our greater community, and we need to encourage more of that. I mean, one of the takeaways I had in looking at that is it's interesting that JK Rowling addresses transgender women as being unacceptable in her vision or world. Mm-hmm. She doesn't talk about transgender men, but I think unfortunately there are people that follow her because she's the storyteller. She's created this whole wonderful Harry Potter phenomena that's probably been going on for 20 or 30 years. And all of a sudden now she decides to speak out hatred, spew hatred. And what I would like to say is, maybe we need to stop supporting her creative works. I mean, it's hard because sometimes it's hard to separate the creative force from, what comes out of their mouths or their actions from the art they've created. And, without going into the details and getting on a tangent, you look at Michael Jackson. His music is legendary. It always will be, but he had controversy. But shifting back the attention on JK Rowling, who's still alive, she, is full of hatred. She has a partnership, or I'm sure she has a strong interest with her Harry Potter land, which is affiliated with Universal Studios in Florida and in Orlando. So I have to say, I think we all need to make choices, and sometimes it's hard because you can't take away that what she created is a wonderful, wonderful phenomena in terms of the books and the movies.
I thought it was shit.
Okay.
That's just my
But at the end of the day, she's a bigot. And
she's a bigot, and
she feels threatened by people who are being their authentic self. So
I'm just going to say it. She's afraid of the dick. That's what she's afraid of men. She thinks that people that are born biologically male transition to female because they want to dominate women and they want to take advantage of women. And I think she should, write a novel where she explores all these topics. Oh, I'm sorry, she did. She wrote a novel where she explored these topics. And guess who the murderer was in that book? It was a transgender female. It was a male to female in her book. And she cast that person in the fictional writing as the villain. So she's got a lot of work she needs to do in therapy. And, stay up there wherever you are and, tweet away and I'll block you. And you don't appear in my feed. The only time you appear is when I have to read about you on my teleprompter.
Well, there is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by sharing them and subscribing to Queer News Tonight.